Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Gene Curl, and this is a series I'm doing on reading the journal that I kept while I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I am just going to continue on where I left off on the last episode and start off there. Tuesday the 25th of May 2004. Mostly cloudy. It rained a couple of times today. Light wind, hot. We met Elder P, Elder S, Elder A, and Elder T, Sister C, and Sister E at Brother N and Brother N at the tab, and went to hike Manoa Falls. I had no way to know where to go, and when I caught a red light and no one waited for me, but somehow I managed to find it. It was raining this morning during part of the hike. When we got to the falls, I took a lot of pictures. On the way down, Elder T climbed a coconut tree and threw down some coconut, and then all of us except Elder R and Brother N ate coconut and drank the juice because they were way behind. When they finally caught up, we shared with them. Before we left, Brother N had Elder T climb the tree again, and it was a fun hike, but I think the funnest part was watching the climb up the coconut tree. The elder that climbed up the coconut tree would have gotten in trouble for climbing the tree had the mission president known. That was not allowed. We went to Elder A and Elder H's pad and stayed for a while, and then went to our pad to clean up, to clean the pad, etc. We met the zone leaders at their pad, and Elder R and Elder S went to go email. I stayed with Elder P and wrote letters. I wrote letters to Mom, a letter to Aaron. After Elder R finished emailing, we went shopping. We got to Debbie's house. When we got to Debbie's house, she told us that her husband does not want us on the property, so we could not teach her then. But she asked if we could come to church. She asked if she could come to church. I explained our church and told her when and where we meet, and gave her the Book of Mormon, and she started reading it before we drove away. I got a good feeling about her. Hopefully she will come to church this Sunday. We visited Meteor Frill and then dropped by the church to get Abraham T to go on a team up tomorrow, and also to eat food. Sister R made some great Tongan food. Wednesday, the 26th of May 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. For devotional, we went over the Stop Smoking program. After devotional, we went to the mission office to pick up a few things for the program. As soon as we got back to our area, we had to go to our appointment with Cynthia. We were not able to teach, but we did set up a time for dinner and service with her. We then went to our pad for a week plan. Before we could finish our planning, we had to leave to go to John's. We got there, John was fast asleep, so we went back to the pad to finish our week plan for tomorrow and have lunch. We picked up Abraham T at his house and went to teach Tiffany. We had a pretty good discussion with her and committed her to read, pray, and meet with us again. She is 18 years old and is very pretty and was wearing immodest clothing. We all tried not to be, but Abraham, Elder R, and I was distracted by it. But at any rate, the discussion went well. I just hope the next time she wears more clothing. After Tiffany, we went to the T family's house, and Sister T fed us dinner. After dinner, we went to North Shore with Sister T and Abraham. We had a good trip. We met Mike T and his girlfriend, Micah. We met his girlfriend Micah at the Temple Visitor Center and watched the first vision. I found out that it is a really good thing that we took them to see it now, because the Visitor Center will close next week and will remain closed for the rest of my mission. We next watched the Testaments at the Polynesian Cultural Center, and Micah said that she enjoyed it a lot, and we had a good ride home. We were asked a lot of questions about our rules, etc. I committed Micah to read a few things in the Book of Mormon and pray and see if they are true. Before we left the North Shore, we stopped at McDonald's for ice cream. Elder R and I got home at about 22:40. Thursday, the 27th of May, 2004. Partly cloudy. Rain on and off all morning. We had a good trade winds today, and it was a little hot. We met Elder A and Elder H at the tabernacle for area analysis. After area analysis, we went to Queen's Hospital and dropped off Elder A and Elder H so they could give a blessing and picked them up 20 minutes later. Then we went through the drive-thru at Burger King. Elder H and I ate at Elder H's pad and then went tracting. Elder A went to my area with Elder R. We did not teach anyone in the 2 hours that we tracted, but we did get a return appointment for a part-member family. We talked with some less active families and then followed up on some people that Elder F and Elder H tracted into on my area. One of the people, a lady named Doreen, we taught the first discussion and it went well. She agreed to read the Book of Mormon and pray about it. She seems pretty solid, and I will be able to continue to teach her because she lives in my area. We taught a lady named Momi at a less active member's house, and every time that we would ask Momi a question, the less active members would answer, and she told us about her gay son and tried to blame his actions on her mother. We had a team up with the Elder Quorum President and visited a few less active members. On the way to the last visit, I fell asleep in the back of the car. Oops. We ate our drop-off dinner at the pad just before night plan. Elder H is pretty cool and has a lot of love and aloha. It was also kind of funny that he wanted me to tell him some of my stories, so I did. I received a letter from Mom. Friday, the 20th day of May 2004. Mostly clear, hot, light wind. I had devotional with the other three elders, and then when we went to the tab to have interviews with President. On the way to the tabernacle, Elder G almost got us in a car crash. When all of the missionaries got there, Elder S asked Sister E to give the opening prayer, but when he was conducting, he said that I was giving the prayer, so I had to give it. When I was interviewed by President, the first thing that I asked was if he likes the new President's letters. He responded that he knows they are inspired and they will believe and that he will be blessed for using them, but he got more info from the old ones. He told me that on the Big Island, Elder S went out of his way to tell Sister Willis that he loves me. President said that he wanted to tell me before Sister Willis did, but that he did not want me to tell her that he told me. President also told me that one thing he has noticed about me that he likes is every time anyone gives me a suggestion on how to improve and grow, I carefully consider it, and I am humble enough to accept it and change. President told me that I have grown a lot since I have been in the mission. He also told me that almost all of my companions, there have been 2 exceptions, have appreciated my hard work and obedience. I told him that when I first got Elder S, he did not like me, but I tried as hard as I could to get him to realize that I want to be his friend. President Willis told me that he can assure me that I succeeded wonderfully and that Elder S loves me. After the interviews, President gave the usual hug and told me that he loves me and that went to talk with Sister Willis. She asked about my health, my email situation, my call home, etc. She told me not to tell her goodbye because she might see me again. Before we went home, we went to get an oil change and ate lunch. After the oil change, we dropped by the office so that I could get reimbursed for it. The sisters were out to lunch, but their stuff was in the room, so I left a note that said, "How's it?" from the Waiulimu elders. On the way out of the building, I could hear them in the kitchen, so I had knocked on the door and said, "Hey, keep it down in there." We planned out the day at the pad and then worked on the area book and learned a very important thing today. Just because someone has written on the word list that a person has moved does not mean that they have. I called a lot of the people that supposedly moved, and most of them still lives there. Elder S is one of them that marked them as moved. We tracked it for a while and then went to dinner with the R family. Sister R's sister from Kaneohe was there too. I think that I had a little too much fun talking. We should keep it on a missionary topic, but it is often hard. Celestial marriage is not what we should discuss. Sister R's sister was telling me that I should get married as soon as I get home and that I should go to school at BYU, Idaho, so that I can find a girl that can already cook, clean, and sew, and take care of children. Converts are okay, she said, but it is better to find one that's already trained. Elder R shared the dinner message. We had to rush home from the R family so that we could use the restroom. Elder R asked if I had to do a number 2, so I told him no, but rather a number 10. We tried to visit a few people and then had to rush home so that I could make another deposit. Having an upset stomach is not good for the missionary work. Saturday, the 29th of May, 2004. Partly cloudy, rain, light, wind, hot. Part of the day it rained hard, but most of the time it was just liquid sunshine. Liquid sunshine is when there's raindrops falling but the sun's out. On the way home to Zone Tract, I passed the street for the Kahalo Chapel. We were supposed to track the sisters area, so we were 15 minutes late. So when we got there, almost everyone had left. I got a little upset because when the Zone Tract was in my area, I waited 45 minutes for everyone else to show up, and when I am 15 minutes late, everyone leaves without me. I tracted with Elder H, and almost every time someone would open the door, they were kind of rude. One lady told us that she knows everything because she is Catholic. I asked her if she really thinks she knows everything, and she responded that she did, so I said, well, since you know everything, I guess that we will talk to someone else. We did not teach. When we got back to the church, I said to Sister C, you know, I like it that I waited 45 minutes for everyone to come to my area, and when I am 15 minutes late, I'm not waited for. Sister C said that she was sorry, and so I told her not to worry about it. Elder R and I went to the store to pick up the things that we needed for the Stop Smoking program, and had a very quick lunch, and then met Tolly at John's. John was not there, as far as we could tell, and the neighbors said that he was not. We tracked it, Elder R and I, on Pacific Heights Road. We met a few nice people, but did not teach even though we tracked it for 2 hours in the rain. We talked to one man, about 22 years old, who is Jehovah's Witness. He was very nice and Christ-like. I have a higher respect for the Jehovah's Witness Church after I talked to him because he was so Christ-like. We had dinner with the H family. I shared the dinner message on the man in the flood. After dinner, we tried to see John. He was not home, but his mother told us that when we came by earlier today, he was there, but he was asleep. I should have knocked louder, I guess. We also tried to catch a few part member families. Elder R usually always makes us late for everything, mostly because he spends too much time in the restroom. Perhaps President put me with him so that I can teach, so that I will learn to be patient, etc. Because later in life, when I get married, I will likely always be waiting on my wife, so I might as well learn to deal with it now. Sunday, the 30th of May, 2004. We went to church at 0700 for a correlation, but Brother Key never showed up. Gerard and Julie P. were the only 2 investigators to come to church. No teacher came to Sunday school, so I had to teach. But I only knew about 5 minutes before the class that I had to teach. After lunch at the pad, we worked on the area book a little while and then walked to Gerard's. We walked because we only had 12 miles left on the car and wanted to save them so that we could go shopping on P-Day. We tried to see a few people and then had dinner with the K family, and they had Zippy's chicken. Maybe they forgot that it was Sunday. I shared the dinner message. After dinner, we tried to see a few inactives and then went home for night plan. Both Elder R and I are pretty excited about going to the Punch Bowl tomorrow. Monday the 31st of May 2004. Clear, mostly light sprinkles, light wind, hot. Around 0700 we went up the Punch Bowl National Cemetery for the Memorial Day service so that we could find a place to park. There were about 20 senior missionaries there, so we sat with them. The service was really good. After the service, I met Admiral Fargo and was able to shake hands with the mayor, a master sergeant in the Marines, and after we talked to him for about an hour, he's a member. He invited us to lunch, so we followed him to the Korean barbecue on Justina Street, and he bought us lunch. I asked him if there was one reason why I should join the Marines instead of any other branch. What would it be? So he told me because of the respect for myself mostly, but also the respect for others it will give. He said that after boot camp, I will have a lot of confidence, and after a few years, no one will be able to convince me that I can't do something because I know that I can. He also told me something that I already knew. If I do what my mother wants me to do, I'll never be happy. To be happy, I'll have to do what I want to do. His name is Brother R. About 20 minutes after Brother R had walked out of the restaurant with us, another member told us that they had bought us lunch, so he took it home with us for later. We went shopping and developed our film, and then went back to the pad. I wrote the University 8th Ward and sent them pictures, and then wrote Mom and sent her pictures. I put a junk homemade birthday card in an envelope for Tom. I did not want to send him a good one since he never writes. We took the carpet off of the hard floor in the spare room and took the bunk bed apart. Elder R got upset because I did not want to take it apart outside, so I told him that it made more sense to take it apart where it is at. I finally consented to take it apart outside because he made such a blasted big deal about it. He never could give me a good reason either. Brother Key called us, invited us to the chop suey place in our area, and we went there for dinner. After dinner, we came home and had night plan. Tuesday, the 1st of June, 2004. It rained this morning, mostly all day. It rained this morning, mostly all day. It was clear, but it rained tonight, hot with light wind. We spent all of our companionship study and personal study making outlines for the Stop Smoking program. I tried to finish it in district meeting, but Elder Ale did not want me to. He said because his training was important to help investigators progress, so I almost told him that so was the Stop Smoking program, but I did not. We met John at his place just after district meeting and did the Stop Smoking program with him. It took about 3 hours, but it really went well. We had lunch at the pad and then picked up our dinner money from Sister B. We then tracked a Waiolimu Street and met nice people at every house, but we only talked to a few people because the ones that we did talk to were very long-winded, but we were not able to teach. We visited Sister O's husband, Denny. He invited us in and shot the breeze for a while. He started talking trash about President Bush. I just bit my tongue, but it was very hard to not say something when he talked about President Clinton. He also said a lot of things about the U.S. I thought that he needed to be busted in the jaw for, but I did not say one word about it either way. It was sad that there's not a lot more patriots in the world today. I might not be much else, but I am a patriot, and I am an honest man. Wednesday, the 2nd of June, 2004. It rained lightly, but most of the day was nice and clear. It was hot today with a light wind. We had week plan this morning, and then went to John's to make sure that he had not been smoking. We then visited a few other people and came home for lunch. After lunch, I worked on fixing the termite damage for a while, and then we tracked it on the Wailumu Street. We did not teach anyone, but we did meet a lot of inactive people. We picked up Abraham T. at his house and tried to see a few of our investigators, but they were busy. We took him with us to the K family to teach Rodney and Melissa the second after baptism discussion, but they canceled so that Melissa could be fitted for a wedding gown. We ate dinner with Sister Kay. We took Abraham home and went to see David G. at the YMCA, but waited for an hour, but he never showed up. So we went to our pad, and I worked on the books, and after planning, I worked on the termite damage. Thursday, the 3rd of June, 2004. Mostly clear, but rained after dark. Hot with a light wind. We picked up our dinner money, and then we went and talked to Julie P. for a while. When her daughter came out, she had an I don't care look on her, I hate the world look on her face. She got mad because Julie gave us some cookies. Julie said, "These are my friends, Elder Curl and Elder R." So she barked, "I don't care," and went to her room and slammed the door. We went to check on a few people to see if they had moved. 2 out of the 3 had something that was marked as moved had not moved. 2 of the 3 that had been marked as moved had not moved. At the house, when one of the members had been written as moved, we knocked, but no one answered. We knocked louder, and a woman opened the door and yelled, "You woke up my babies," and slammed the door. I started to walk off, but Elder R did not want to. He wanted to leave a note, but I told him that it was not a good idea. Well, while we were talking about it, the woman came down again and started yelling at us, telling us to leave and saying that she should have got the hint when she slammed the door. She said that people have been trying to visit that guy for 5 years, but he moved 5 years ago because that's when she moved in. I tried to leave, but Elder R kept talking. She asked me what kind of Christian keeps trying to talk to someone when they slam the door in their face. I wanted to say the kind that cares for your soul, but instead I asked if she was Christian. She said yes, but not a very good one. That saved me the trouble of saying it. Again, I tried to leave, but Elder R tried to stay, so the woman said that she would call the police on us if we did not leave. So I figured that if I started walking down the street, he would follow, and it worked. This is a condensed version of the experience. While walking back to the pad, I said, "I told you that nothing good would come of hanging around." Elder R said that he thought we did a lot of good. I told him that she has an infinitely worse opinion of the church than she did yesterday. She wanted the bishop's number, but I gave her a pass-on card and told her that she could use it as a complaint line if she wanted. We ate a late lunch at the pad. After lunch, I finished the ward list, and then we went following up on people we were supposed to meet with. We were supposed to meet with Rodney and Melissa tonight, but we could not get a hold of them. We had dinner at the pad, and I worked on the damage. Elder P and Elder S came to get our paper we made about the area for President Hawkins. The assistant to the president called and asked us to trade a car for our truck because the president needs to use it. We will trade on Sunday. Friday, the 4th of June, 2004. Clear, hot, light wind. We visited some part member families and then went street contacting and visited old investigators until 1300. When we came home for lunch, all with no visible success. After lunch, we did some follow-up visits and we tracked it until 1600. When we had to do service for the R family, a non-member family, again, we did not teach. We helped the R family at their construction site until 1830 and then went home to clean up. We went to the zone meeting at the tabernacle at 1930 and we all set a zone goal for 10 baptisms in June and then played a game. When we first got there, Sister C told us that the meeting was at 1900. and that it was already over. I almost believed her for a minute. Shame on her for trying to trick me. Saturday, the 5th of June 2004. It was mostly clear and hot, but it rained a few times today, light wind. We went to the drugstore on the way to Zone Tract so that Elder R could get his prescription. We were about 15 minutes late for Zone Tract. I tracked it with Elder G, and we did not teach anyone, and we did not talk to very many people. The two that we talked to took up most of the time. We talked to a few others for less than a minute. A Buddhist man preached to us for about 15 minutes about some crazy stuff. Finally, I told him that we had to go. We then talked to a minister from the Holy Rollers, and then talked with a part-member family for about 30 minutes. The non-member mother said that Elder P and Elder S tried to force her to take the discussions, and she does not like them. She said that she thinks Elder G and I are cool, and she would let us teach her, but not the zone leaders. We got back to the tabernacle on time, but Elder R and Elder B were an hour late because they were looking for Elder S and Elder C. While we waited, Elder A did the slap dance for us, and I talked to the sisters and showed my family pictures. After the Zone Tract, all the elders had lunch at Taco Bell, and then Elder R and I came back to our area. We tracted for an hour and a half without so much as a return appointment. We had dinner with the R family, and Sister R told us about her niece who served in the swamps of Texas and baptized about 100 people. She did not have a phone most of the time. Most of the people lived in the old buses in the swamps, and she served 14 of her 18 months with 12 different companions. After dinner, I have a picture taken with them and with me and the R family. After dinner, we tried to visit the people who just moved into the ward but could not catch them. We also tried to do a few of the 6-step programs with active members, or rather we tried to set up time to do the 6-step program. Well, that will be it for today's episode. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to comment down below and I will answer your questions. With that said, thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next episode.